Welcome back, survivors. I wanted to talk today about a couple of things here in Ark Extinction. One of the new creatures here, the Gasbag, is a weird bug. It looks like a giant, well, maggot, I guess. It's a caterpillar, maggot-looking thing. Giant bug, alright? They're kind of gross looking. I haven't really... There's not much of a use for them. They can be useful, but... they're not great at attacking. They don't have a lot of hit points. What they do have is a lot of carrying capacity. It can carry a lot of weight. Like, I've not put any points into its weight at all. Like, when I tame this one, it can carry 3,720 weight. Way more than almost any dino I've got. I think... yeah, it's even way more than my Bronto. Yeah, it's 2,700 on the Brontosaurus, which is a really high-level Brontosaurus. I tamed this one at level 120 in the wild, and it's level 179 right now, and it still can't hold the weight of this level 65 Gasbag. So, let me get on it, and I'll show it to you guys here. And I'll talk to you a little bit about it. They're basically, like I said, giant worms, big caterpillar-looking things. They're not particularly fast, they can't run, they don't have a strong attack, they can't gather anything that I can tell, so there's really not much use for them, except to move weight around. That's really all they're good for, except this. There's one cool thing about them. Jump. And these big monsters can fly. The problem is they take some damage when they hit the ground. Now, that was a huge distance covered, and they can do that even while weighted down. Now, after they've done this, they're much smaller. You have to, and then they can jump, right? They have this weak little jump ability. You have to hit the right-click button to suck in air. As you can see, it starts sucking in air with the right-click, and it starts swelling the creature up. And it can swell up to its full size, and you can do that little jump maneuver again. And it flies an incredible distance. Not only distance, but height, too. It gets a lot of air. Oh, wow, it almost died with that. I gotta be careful. I gotta learn how to control it a little bit better. Supposedly, there's a way to limit its fall damage. And I'm not sure how to do it yet, but what I've been using it for is hauling stone and metal. I'll go on a stone run, a metal run, a wood run, whatever it is, and I use this to haul the resources. And basically what I do, I use one of the new Cryopods, which I haven't got a chance to try until recently. But I got a bunch of these from that last orbital supply drop that we defended. I've done a couple of those off camera. They're really cool. You know, you defend the waves, you get the resources from it. And I got several of these Cryopods from... now, they have a spoil timer on them, but they're really long, like 29 days. So, what these work as... I've got one equipped here. They basically work like a Pokeball. If you've ever seen Pokemon, if you're familiar with the concept, they have these Pokeballs that can catch the wild Pokemon in the ball, and then you can transport it around easily in your pocket. That's basically the way this Cryptopod works, or Cryopod. Walk up to it with it equipped, and left click. And it basically, he holds it out, and he sucks the creature into it. Let me get a little bit closer. Kind of hard to see with him all swollen up like this. You don't really get a good view of it, but there's like a blue light that glows around him and flickers and all that, and then basically you hold it for a few seconds, and boom! It sucks him up into the Cryptopod. Kinda cool, right? Now you can transport this guy, and they don't weigh anything. There's no weight to it once you add the creature to it. It still weighs 0.5, just like an empty one. With the creature added to it, it still weighs 0.5, so there's no negatives to these things, right? The only downside I can see is that they drop any inventory that they're holding. So if you have any resources or food or anything on it in its inventory, it's going to drop it once you suck it up into the Pokeball. Saddles, it keeps equipped. but no other inventory items. So let me show you what I've kind of been doing here. Is I'll ride my gas bag out to an area that's got resources like stone or whatever, and then I'll get to that area and throw out whatever I use to mine with. In this case, I've got a beaver that I usually use to gather wood that I tamed from down there in the hole at the lake over there. But I tamed an Ankylosaurus out in the wasteland, and I keep it in a cryptopod, or cryopod, and then when I get to that area, I just simply click it, throws it out, boom, Ankylosaurus. Hop on him, and mine the resource that I want to mine, boom, super simple. Grab the resources off of him, load it onto the worm, and then when I'm done mining, I put the Ankylosaurus back into the Pokeball. I keep wanting to call them Pokeballs, the Cryptopod, the Cryopod. Jump back on the worm and scoot back to base. So it works pretty well that way. The only problem is, if you see down at the bottom right, there's a timer. I can't use any other Cryopods while that timer is going. That means I can't use a Cryopod to pick this guy back up. I mean, I can't throw another one out. Excuse me. I can pick him up, but I can't throw another one. So, and you see all the resources that we just gathered were thrown on the ground there. Not a big deal, really. I can always gather more of this stuff. Let me see what I can carry, though. But right now, I can't throw another one out. See, he's got cryo sickness, so he can't move. He's unconscious. If you throw one out while you've got that timer going, he's got cryo sickness, and it's basically unconscious, and you have to wait for it to wake up, which is really inconvenient. And the reason they do that is to keep people from exploiting this thing, because it is a really powerful means of transporting creatures across a long distance really easily. Say like Brontosaurus. This is how I got the Brontosaurus to my base. I knocked it out. I tamed it. Takes forever, right? When it was finished taming, I picked it up in a cryopod, flew it back on my Griffin, and then just popped it open at the base. Well, there's lots of easy ways, so that's a really easy way of transporting a huge dino like a Bronto, which is, Brontosauruses move kind of slow for their, I mean, as big as they are, granted, naturally they move slow, and they're really cumbersome to get around, and they don't have a very good turning radius, so they're a huge pain to transport. Well, this makes it much, much easier to transport those bigger dinos like that, so it saves you a lot of headache, and I guess to keep people from exploiting it, they put a timer on it. It is interesting that they do keep their saddle, so that's really nice, so you don't have to worry about taking their saddle off, loading them into the cryptopod, throwing them out, putting their saddle back on, because that saddle weighs a lot while you're carrying it, so that is a nice touch that you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. Let me go drop this off, wait for this guy to wake back up, and I got a couple other things to show you guys. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to show you, now that I've got some of the creatures necessary to start gathering some resources in large quantities, I wanted to show you what I've been working on. This is that center tower in the middle of the city, the really, really tall one. You can't build at the very top. I tried it. It's a sloped surface. You can't build on any of the sloped surfaces, like this one right here. It's sloped. You can land on it, but you can't build on these sloped surfaces. You can only build on a flat surface. So I started building some little buildings. I've got this one, and I've got one other one out at the eastern edge of town, out in that direction. But anyways, they're simple little 3x3s, nothing fancy. Let me hop off him, I can move quicker that way. They're simple little 3x3s, just windows, a bed, and a chest with a couple parachutes in them. Because, you know, who knows, we may want to skydive one day. As a matter of fact, we can do that right now. This one is actually directly above my base, so we should be able to just jump right off. We can free fall for a minute because we got plenty of time with this parachute. We are so far up there. We got plenty of time before we have to hit the parachute. But yeah, our bases should be rendering into view soon. There it is. Pop our parachute and slowly descend down to our base. That is almost perfect. I'm going to overshoot it just a bit. Let me see if I can turn it in a bit. Come on, come on, come on, come on. So close. There we go. Nice. Sweet. We did it. Way up there, all the way down to our base. I think we outran our bird, though, so I'm going to have to grab another bird, run up there and get him. But yeah, I've got the ability to gather a lot more resources now. I've got some dinos I tamed out in the snow. This Doedon, which is good for healing. Like if you go out and get to a fight and come back, you need to heal your creatures. He's really good for passive healing. He lets them heal quicker. Like I said, I've got a beaver or Castoroides, whatever you want to call it. They're really good at gathering wood. I've got a Brontosaurus, which is excellent at gathering berries, and maybe we can test him out a little bit later, doing some battles, maybe put a platform saddle on it, take it out with a Pokeball or Cryptopod, and throw it out and get it into fights at some of those drop pods, because they the orbital drops, the supply drops, and they do increase in difficulty based on their color. So I've tried out several of them and nearly got wrecked a few times. There is a blue one, which seems to be the easiest. That's the one I did on camera. There's a yellow, a red, and a purple that I've seen so far since then. And the difficulty scaling from that blue one to a red, yellow, or purple is astronomical. Basically, the purple one was so bad, like the instant it started, I was swarmed by wyverns and T-Rexes, all these corrupted Rexes and wyverns, like almost immediately. There was 20 dinosaurs there, all stupid high level, all big, nasty, powerful creatures, and I just basically instantly aborted mission and ran away. It was pretty much the same thing with the red one and yellow one too. They just weren't quite as bad. I don't think there were wyverns on the yellow one, but I actually lasted one round on the yellow one. I was able to fight it. It was raptors, and once I started getting several Spinos coming in at once, I kind of had to bail because my bird was taking a lot of damage. But we got to come up with a better plan, a better strategy. Maybe get some really good enforcers and take those out there. Maybe a Bronto with a platform saddle and some turrets on it. Who knows? We're gonna have to test out a few things and see what works. I got to go find my my Griffin there my Argentavis, because he hasn't followed me back down yet. Apparently, he got stuck up there. But that is going to wrap up this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am stuck here. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Post me any comments or questions down below. And hey, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.